not had the Elizabeth Anderson. I am not going to tell you a ton about myself. I am from a rural town in Alabama, Childersburg. I grew up significantly below the poverty line. I was on free lunches. We lived in the projects when we were very, very fortunate. I did not go to a dentist until I was 23 years old. So bad situation for me growing up. Ended up being a first generation college student at the University of Alabama. Now I am a tech CEO, but not an evil one. Not an evil one. And of course, you might know me from your ballot last time. So normally when candidates get up here and speak, they tell you all about themselves. That's all I'm going to tell you about me. If you want to know more, stay after class. Then they tell you why you should vote for them. And then they tell you why their opponent is bad. So who thinks that Gary Palmer needs to go? Does anybody disagree? Does anybody disagree? Okay, so we can skip all that stuff. So I'm going to flip the script a little bit and talk some about strategy. It's going to be kind of inside baseball here, but stick with me because if we're going to flip this district ever, and I don't think it's impossible, okay, we have to do it together and we have to stick together. It won't just be me. It won't just be Mandy or Donald or Marcia or Lizzie or anybody else all alone. It's going to have to be all of us together. Because when we talk about this as a red district, you know what that is? That's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't just decide that it's going to be a red district. We can decide that it's going to be something else, but we have to do it together. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So we're going to stick together. So what we're going to talk about today, we're not good as Democrats sometimes at looking at the problems, and I think it holds us back. We get kind of depressed, and we don't like to look at where the problems are. It's the thing that we do even on the national stage, but we can't fix it if we don't pinpoint it. So I'm going to share some hard truths, and we're going to go on a roller coaster ride. And so we're going to go down the hill, and then we're going to go up, 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 up until we're all like, yay, at the end of this, okay? So we can strategically fight back. Okay, so get ready because we're going to go. Okay. All right, we're going to be covering the challenges that we face, the demographics, the voting patterns, and a game plan for how to fix it. So starting with our district overview, again, kind of inside baseball here, but as you all know, we were recently redistricted for the 2024 election following that big U.S. Supreme Court decision. Y'all know that. It looks red. It looks real red, but it's not all red. Look at these blue pockets. You know what's going on in those blue pockets? That's where most of the people live. And I want to remind you that these big areas of land, they don't vote. It's the people in these blue pockets that are voting. We have to have the numbers. It's a numbers game. So Coosa County, which is part of this district, they've only got about 5,000 voters. Okay, that's it for everybody. Okay, Jefferson County, which we don't even have all of Jefferson County, has 120,000 voters. Okay, so when I say land doesn't vote, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, it's not a red state. It looks red, but it doesn't have to be a red state. We're a very gerrymandered state, and we are a voter suppressed state. And I'm going to show y'all some gerrymandering in District 6. All right, so this is the area around Birmingham where it's really, really egregious. So the yellow here is District 6, that's Gary Palmer. The pink is District 7, Terry Sewell. So do you see these real jagged edges?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where they have drawn the district lines, street by street. And you can go look at these maps. You can scan that QR code, look at these maps and zoom in all over the place. It is just like that. Now, I'm going to show you another graph. The same area. The green is predominantly black. The blue is predominantly white. Now look at how that's the same shape. You see what I'm talking about? It's the same. District 6 also has the highest concentration of any of the districts in Alabama of high income voters. So we have higher income areas. Now, when you look at this map, these dark blue, these are our higher income areas. They're in District 6. Shelby County is the highest income county in the state of Alabama. We do not have a maternity ward in Shelby County. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's absolutely nuts, but it doesn't stop there. We also have prison gerrymandering that happens in District 6. Do y'all know about prison gerrymandering?
Yeah.
They take people, predominantly Black men, out of left-leaning urban areas and they move them into right-leaning rural areas. As when they're building this big Elmore County mega prison, that's what they're doing. The district population for representation counts, so they can gerrymander around that. So it just squeezes more Republican votes into these landed areas, right? That's Elmore County. Elmore County doesn't have as many votes as Shelby County does. But they're squeezing population into those areas so they can gerrymander around it. So we've got all of that going on. Y'all don't need to find your district, you know, you're in District 6. So let's look at the demographics of District 6. Voters in District 6 skew a little bit older. Almost 50% are over the age of 35. So it's kind of a skewing older district compared to other districts in Alabama. It's mostly women. It's predominantly white. So our district does not represent the overall racial makeup of this state because they gerrymandered it, right? 68.9% of people in the entire state of Alabama identify as white, but that is not the case in District 6. This is very, very disparate. Okay, the largest population centers in this district are the suburbs of Birmingham and Montgomery, which, as you know, where many of those were formed during the white flight period immediately following the civil rights movement. So we're very gerrymandered out here in District 6. It's hard. Okay, are y'all good and depressed? Because we're going to keep going down. Okay? But stick with me because we're going to go back up. All right, voting patterns for this district. Our turnout fluctuates a lot based on presidential elections. So we had our highest turnout in the 2020 presidential election with 353,900 voters. Then we had a sharp decline in 2022. And then during 2024, we went right back up. So we have a lot of people in this district. What this graph says is these people are just voting for president. They're not coming out for the midterms. They don't care. Okay, we need y'all to turn out in the midterms. We have to do it. That's when our shot is, right? The Republicans, they're staying home. That, you know, they're not worried about it, so they stay home. That's when our opportunity to strike is. And you'll know how important that is right now, right? They're doing everything they can to keep us from going out in the midterms. So we got to turn up and we got to bring our friends with us, okay? We have a better chance in the midterms, especially in the down ballot races. All right, so when we're talking about just 2024, this is what it looked like. Don't be depressed about that. That's not a sad number. That's great. That's so good. Y'all, it was so weird the day after the election because, okay, were y'all like, I mean, I was in bed crying the day after the election. I think we all were. But I had people calling me to congratulate me on the race. And that number looks real sad. But let me tell you how good it is and why I was getting all that congratulatory text. Because I was expected to get 15% of the vote. So look, we built momentum. We did something here, okay? And this is a really polarized race. Palmer is one of the most far right people, and I'm one of the most far left people that you'll probably ever meet. So it's a super, super polarized race. Would a moderate do better in District 6? I don't know. We don't have polling data on this, right? If y'all want to do polling, go ahead and donate to the campaign. And we'll get some on that. But the biggest thing for us is that straight ticket voting hurts us real bad. People are just voting Republican. When I was running, people do not know who Gary Palmer is. They go vote for him and they have no clue. When you ask people, who's your representative, they'll say like Katie Britt. You know, one time somebody said Kay Ivey, and I'm like, no, that's not. They don't know. And even if they do know it's Gary Palmer, they don't know anything about him. He's quiet. He does not go out and do things. He would never go out and just speak in the community. That's why Marcia's protesting every Tuesdays at his office. See Marcia, they're doing a good job. But it's really hard out there, right? Because it's hard to collect money and we didn't quite have enough money to advertise everywhere. So not everybody could hear that there was an alternative candidate to vote for. So it's a real challenge, but we have to keep building on it. This is my favorite slide, actually. This is our campaign spending. Gary Palmer spent $1.9 million.
Why? You didn't need to.
Thank you, girl. Right? I spent $169,000. He spent, let me tell you why I think he spent that much. He actually spent $1.5 million more in this election than he has in any previous election.
He was scared.
I like to think so.
Yes.
So he spent $1 million more against me than against Dan Klein. I mean, so he was spending that money, and that's great, right? Because Gary Palmer has like $1 bazillion, and he is over there like a dragon sitting on his hoard of gold, and he's been doing that for years and years and years. And now we're going to make him spend his money, which is great. We love to do that because he's not actually raising that much every year, right? There was one of the not a cycle, but there was one period in the election that we outraised him because he's not like raising all the time. And who he does raise from, it's like corporate money, it's super PACs, it's PACs, and it's these big donors. He does not have small donors. There are not people donating $5 to his campaign. Every single person that donates to him is a large donor. And so we need to make him spend that money, okay? So we're mostly small dollar donors. Our average donation was $65. I spent a lot less. I got more out of it. This is not on the slide, but Gary Palmer spent $17.80 per vote in the last election.
Wow.
I spent $1.65. So we ran a really tight ship. So that's good news. All right, stick with me because we're going somewhere. I do not like as a candidate that I have to focus mostly on Shelby County and Jefferson County. I live in Shelby County. I love Shelby County, but I want to be able to go out to some of these other places. But the reality is that's where the voters are. Okay, strategically, flipping Shelby County and Jefferson County means that we get way bigger gains. Remember I told you that Coos County has 5,000 voters? That's every voter in Coosa County. They're tiny over there, okay? And so if we were able to gain an extra 4%, like that's nothing. If we got 4% more in Jefferson County, that would counteract the entire voting population of Coosa County. So this is why it is so important that you have to talk to your neighbors, because 4%, that's not a ton. We can do 4%, right? We can do 4%. I think that we can. And remember, we don't have to have 100% of the vote. We just have to have one more vote than Gary Palmer does. Okay. So let's look at Shelby County. Shelby County, I already told you, is the wealthiest county in the state, has a lot of suburbs. You know, it is our second biggest voting population. It's 80% white, 25% over the age of 65. We got 28% compared to Gary Palmer's 71% in the election. Most of our support was coming from Southwest Shelby County, Montebello, Calera. Biggest opportunity zones in this county are going to be Pelham, Alabaster, and Helena. So if you live in any of these places, this is your big chance. This is your opportunity. We can make some measurable shifts. And so we targeted lots of Pelham and Alabaster, and we saw that they moved. We saw precincts that were shifting in this last election because we were spending the time and we were going out and talking to people. I'm gonna skip Jefferson County unless y'all just like are dying to hear about it. But I'm gonna talk about the game plan. Okay, so get ready because we're gonna be at the top of the roller coaster by the end of this. I'm gonna tell you what I can do. I'm gonna tell you what you can do. But what we cannot do is just sit around and not do anything. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. We can do voter outreach. That looks like phone calls, text banking, canvassing, community events, meet and greets, all of that kind of stuff. Again, not planning to do any polling unless y'all wanna give me a lot of money. We probably will, but I feel like we know the race pretty well at this point. And then we're gonna do some fundraising. And, do y'all ever get all of those text messages from all the politicians? And they're like, if you don't donate to me in the next 5 minutes, Donald Trump will strangle my dog. Okay, we're tired. Like, I delete them. I don't want them either. It seems like Democrats are obsessed with fundraising. We're all tired of it.
Yes.
I actually think that Democrats are not good at fundraising because I don't think that's a great strategy. I don't like doing it. A lot of people say it works. I have seen no evidence of that. I mean, who has gotten the Donald Trump's gonna strangle my dog email and been like, oh, well, I gotta donate right now. We don't do that. Like normal people do not do that, right? But Republicans don't do that. But they outraise us all over the place. The whole nationwide, they're outraising us left and right. And it's especially hard to raise in these places that we call red districts, like District 6, because it's seen as unwinnable, which is my least favorite word. I don't want anybody to say that word, okay? That's a dirty word now. But it's seen as unwinnable, so people don't donate. Democrats tend to support really close races. So during my campaign, a major problem that I had was there are all of these organizations and they fundraise in Alabama. And they say, oh, we're fundraising in Alabama because we're going to get candidates to run in Alabama. And, this is so important. And so please give us money because we're going to support these candidates. They don't. Because I went to those organizations and I said, hey, I'm here. And they said, oh, your race is not close enough. Sorry, come back to us when it's winnable. And it made me mad, right? Because they're fundraising off of us. So we need to make sure that we are supporting every candidate, not just these perceived winnable candidates, because they are winnable if we work for them, okay? We also, as Democrats, tend to support presidential campaigns, but not down ballot campaigns. So your down ballot races really need money, right? I know that it felt good to donate to Kamala Harris's campaign, but that extra $100 didn't do as much for her as it would have done for your local candidates, okay? Especially in a place like Alabama. The other thing is that what we can do with more money, we can do more voter outreach. I had plenty of people towards the end of the election say, well, I didn't hear from you. I live in Bibb County and I didn't hear a peep out of you. And I said, well, I went there. And they're like, well, I didn't hear about it, so I'm not gonna vote for you. So we need to be able to go there more and we need to be able to advertise there more. And we need to do videos and all kinds of stuff and mail and things like that, but it costs money. We need to be able to text, phone bank, do more yard signs. They do not come for free. We do not get them for free, actually. We need to be able to use these tools. The tools are expensive. We use Mobilize. We have a website. We have NGP Van. Those are really expensive. And I really like having expert staff on the team because they know what's up. They know the race. They know who to contact. They know what to do. I run a really tight ship on my campaign. We use every dollar very efficiently, as you can see, because we spend so little per vote. So it's very important that we do our fundraising. So that said, if you could just go ahead and donate to my campaign, that would be very helpful. All right, so now we're going to talk about what you can do. I want y'all to talk about politics. Are y'all excited about that?
Yeah.
I know everybody says, I don't like to talk about it because it seems negative. I promise you, it does not have to be negative. I have been talking about politics for years and years and years, and it does not have to be negative. It really doesn't. You know who benefits from the mindset of it's negative to talk about politics? It's the Republicans, okay? They love it when you don't want to talk about politics. That's their favorite thing because they can just get away with doing all this stuff that they do. Gary Palmer is so excited that y'all have not heard of him, okay? He likes that. He wants to fly under the radar and just get away with doing these egregious policy votes when y'all don't know about it. And you don't know about it because nobody's talking about politics. So we have to talk about politics and we need to help people understand that politics is not just like a race. It is our daily lives. Every single thing that we do. Who had coffee this morning? Did y'all have coffee this morning? Okay, that's politics. Like, who drove here on a road? It's politics. It's all politics. And people don't think about it that way until it really starts hurting them. And so when you do it, when you go out and you start talking to these people about politics, be confident because it doesn't have to be awkward. Okay. You might find out that a lot of people agree with you. So there was a lady on my campaign and she was so nice and she came to one of our campaign events and she was kind of nervous. And she said, and somebody said, "What, you want a yard sign?" And she said, "Oh, I don't know. I live in a rural red neighborhood and I can't take a yard sign because like my neighbors will get so mad at me and I just can't do that." And somebody said, "Well, just, I don't know, just put it up and see what happens." And she said, "Okay, I'll just do it." She literally called me the next day because I gave her my contact information. She called me the next afternoon and she said, "You will never believe what happened. I put my Elizabeth Anderson sign in my yard and I went out this morning and I was walking my dog and 3 of my neighbors came up to me and they said, 'Oh, are you a Democrat?'" She said, "Yes." And they said, "I didn't know there were Democrats that lived in this neighborhood." So there are a lot of people in your neighborhoods that are Democrats. Remember, I had 102,000 people vote for me. They weren't just like randos in the ether. They were your neighbors. Okay. Most of us live near other Democrats. Even if they're not at this meeting right now, they are really out there, I promise you. And when you start talking about politics, you will find them. Okay. Most of us are a lot closer together on these issues than you think you are. So please, please, please go make friends with your neighbors. Social media is keeping us in a bubble. And I can say that with authority because I work on apps every single day of my life. So go talk to your neighbors. Don't just stay on social media. Go to events. Do the fabric donation, do the barbecue and blues, do all of it, and you will meet lots of people who agree with you. Also, you can talk to Trump voters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you can. I promise you. I promise you. You can do it. I've been talking to Trump voters my whole campaign. So one of the things that I was told by these campaign consultants was, "Oh, you only have to talk to Democrats. Don't go talk to those other people." And I said, "Well, that sucks. I want to represent everybody in District 6. So I'm just gonna go out and talk to people." So I did. I went out and just started talking to people, no matter who they were and no matter where they were. You know, we would canvass and they'd say, "Only talk to the people on your list." But there'd be a guy who was, you know, washing his car and I'd say, "Hey, I'm Elizabeth Anderson." And he'd say, "Well, I'm a Republican." I said, "That's okay." Like, I was wearing purple for my campaigns. Lizzie, you want to model our beautiful purple shirt? Look how good she looks in that purple. Because we're here for everybody, right? And so what the trick about this is you just have to meet people where they are. And you have to start with what kind of issues are you interested in? And then they might tell you some crazy stuff, okay? So then they might be like drag queens at the library. And then you're gonna say, "Have you had a drag queen at your library?" And they're gonna say, "No." Because I don't know a drag queen. Like, get serious. They do not know a drag queen, okay, in Shelby County. Like, this is not happening at the North Shelby Library. And so what they're trying to do, they've got these like culture war issues and they like hang on to them so tight. And that's why they want to talk to you about drag queens at the library. That is not an issue that is affecting them at all. They don't even take their kids to the library. Some of them don't even have kids that are children's age, okay? So like, this is not a real issue, all right? They just want to talk about these culture war issues because that's what they're being fed. Okay, that's all they're hearing is that my biggest problem in my life is drag queens at the library. That is not their biggest problem. So you have to get them past that, and you can. Okay, so you say, "Well, you know, we don't have any drag queens at the North Shelby Library, but like, what? Have you seen how like expensive these groceries are? I just heard that the wholesale price for fruits and vegetables went up 40% last month." And then I say, "Yeah, man, my grocery bill is like so high right now." The conservatives win on the culture war issues because they're abstract. Okay, that's like they don't know a drag queen, but they do know that the groceries are expensive. Okay, so we don't let them get the easy targets. That's an easy target for them because we don't know. Well, like most people don't know a drag queen. Okay, but they do know the groceries are high. So stick with that. Keep them focused on that. We are not ignoring the fact that libraries are under attack. We are not doing that. We are fighting for our libraries. We're going to our library board meetings. We're working for policies that can make it safer and more affirming at the libraries. but we're turning down the heat. Okay, we're just turning down the heat on that specific issue by redirecting. And the biggest thing I want to tell y'all is, well, two more things. Don't get mad, because the second that you get mad, they're like, ah, I got them. Liberal tears, right? Do not get mad. Just have to calm down, keep it calm, stay confident. And if they are really dug in and like they're not going to change their mind, don't change their mind. Just move on. And that's okay too, because remember, we don't have to have 100% of the vote. We just have to have one more than the other guy. Okay, so some of these people, you're not going to change their mind, and that's okay. We just keep walking and we talk to the next person. So that said, I want to tell you why I know that we can reach these Trump voters. Okay, I know that y'all are still skeptical. Okay, I know you are. You're like, I don't know, these people are crazy. Let me show you why I know this. Do you see the guy's shoes? Do you see that's me talking to him? Okay, that guy voted for me. And let me tell you, why I know that, because I went and talked to, you remember I told you I talked to everybody on election day. I went up and down the lines at voting locations, at polling locations, all over the district. I drove all around the district that day. Y'all, it was so fun. Highly recommend. But I drove all over and I talked to this guy because I talked to every person, no matter what they were doing and what they were wearing, and if they wanted to talk to me or not. And I walked up to this guy with his MAGA shoes. And I said, hey, you know, my name's Elizabeth Anderson. I'll be on your ballot today. I sure would appreciate your vote. Let me know if you have any questions. And he said, well, what are your biggest issues? And I said, well, maternal health care is a really big issue for me. And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, Shelby County does not have a maternity ward. He said, oh, I have never heard a politician talk to me about the maternity wards, and we just had the worst time. He said, my wife just had a baby a couple months ago, and we live way out here in Shelby County, and it was during rush hour, and we had to get to the hospital, and it took us over an hour to get to the hospital while she was in labor, and we were scared to death. And he was like, and you really care about fixing that? And I was like, yeah, you know, that's my biggest issue. That's the number one issue that I want to talk about. And he said, well, I was just going to go in here and just vote for all the Republicans, but I think I'm going to vote for you. Now, did I get him to not vote for Donald Trump? No. No, I did not. Okay, that man went and voted for Donald Trump and for me. And there were a lot of people like that. Like, we have the data. We know there were people that voted for Donald Trump and for a Democrat. So they are not unreachable. Okay, remember, a lot of people just vote for a presidential candidate. A lot of people just know what they've been told. Okay, they are living in a different reality sometimes. Right? And we have to remember that. But when we can talk to somebody about an issue that really impacts them on a real, actual level, that guy was scared when he was driving his wife to the hospital for an hour. Okay, he was scared. And no politician had talked to him about that. And so he came out, he was so funny, y'all. He came out, he was like, I just voted for you. And I was like, you know, because like, you know, you want to hear that on election day. But yeah, you can talk to, if I can talk to a Trump voter wearing Trump shoes, I did not even know they made those, okay? But if I can do it, you can do it too. It was a perfectly lovely conversation. All right, next thing I want you to do, I want y'all to show up. Like, literally, actually show up. You're doing it right now. This is great. Okay, Marcia, cover your ears a little bit. If y'all are mad about the Alabama Democratic Party leadership, I mean, are y'all mad about it? I'm mad about it. Not Shelby County, but higher up. Okay, y'all want to hear the big secret for how to fix it? Show up. Yeah. Like, literally go, okay? Like, we have to get involved in this stuff, and it will be demoralizing. Like, you will have depressing days, okay? These people are not gonna listen to you sometimes, but the people that are in those leadership positions a lot of times are because they were literally showing up. So we are going to have to also literally show up. If you are annoyed with liberals, join the club. A lot of us are, okay? We're just gonna have to get over it and work together. We have to stop the infighting. There's a lot of infighting that goes on. There's a lot of purity politics that goes on, but we have to all move this train forward, okay? There's this really great analogy about ice cream. So we're all on the bus, and the bus driver says, you know, we could either go for ice cream or we could drive off a cliff. All right. We can get chocolate or vanilla ice cream. Okay, we're gonna go get chocolate ice cream. Okay. Who wants to drive off a cliff? All right, so maybe like 3 people raise their hand. 4 people raise their hand. Who wants to go get chocolate ice cream? The rest of the bus is like, "Oh, I really wanted vanilla." So 3 people raise their hand for chocolate ice cream because the other people are like, vanilla is what I wanted. Guess where we're going? We're going over the cliff. Okay, so we'd rather go get ice cream. So we're gonna have to deal with the ice cream that we're getting because we don't want to go off the cliff. So we're gonna have to stop with the purity politics. We are gonna have to join advocacy groups, Hive, MAD, Indivisible, Alabama Arise, Yellowhammer Fund, DSA. These are great groups doing great things in Alabama right now. And we're gonna have to build a network with some nonprofits. And we're gonna have to post about them on social media, even though I just told you to stay off social media and don't be arguing with people on social media. Post about these policy issues on social media. It's important for your neighbors to see it. Even if nobody likes it, even if nobody comments, I cannot tell you the number of times over the years I have had people say, "Oh, I saw you posting about this on Facebook and I didn't even know that you're a Democrat." And I really realized that there are other people who believe this. So please keep going. Go to your city council meetings, go to your library board meetings, go to your school board meetings. And then I want you to be like Joy and invite a friend. Invite a friend to everything. So the next time that you have a Shelby County Democrats meeting, everybody bring a friend. Okay, because this is like the nicest club in Birmingham. And then I want to challenge you even further. So the next time when you come, you're going to bring a friend, but then the time after that, I want you to bring another friend, and I want you to bring 10 people to any kind of Democrat event over the course of a year. Can y'all do it?
Yeah.
Come on. Y'all got 10 friends. Y'all are nice people. I know y'all have a lot of friends, and I want you to bring them. The other thing I want you to do is multiply your impact. So there are a lot of things that anybody can do, but there are also a lot of things that only you can do. And that goes for every single person in this room. Every single person has a part to play, and you can bring your own special skill set. So if you are an artist, make art. Okay, Joellen Beckham made these really cool signs. I know y'all saw the signs. You know the ones, the bright blue dot. She made the bright blue dot signs, and she made the signs about like what's the big secret, those big billboards. She's an artist and she's supporting the cause, and that did really great work. If you're a photographer, there's this great guy in Birmingham, his name is Thomas Diazio, and he just goes around and takes pictures of all the events. Okay, there was somebody that helped my campaign with SEO. If you're a social media influencer, you got a part to play. Okay, if you are good at taking care of little kids, volunteer at childcare for events so that more people can go campus. Can you make a pimento cheese sandwich? Who can make a pimento cheese sandwich? I mean, we need your services, okay? Like we need pimento cheese sandwiches. That is the fuel of a good campaign. I ate so many pimento cheese sandwiches you would not believe. If you can throw a party, throw a party. If you can write a letter, make a call, go to the Gary Palmer protest. I know y'all can stand around for a couple hours with Marcia. She's so fun.
Half hour.
30
minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
It's not bad.
It's too hot.
It's too hot. Talk to people about registering to vote. Get them to go to the polls. Inaction is a big democracy killer. We talked earlier about how we need this midterm turnout. It's because people don't vote. Like they literally don't go. How many times, I don't know, even the people in this room, you have been like, oh, why do I need to go vote today? I'm gonna stand in that line for 2 hours. It's not even gonna matter because the other guys are gonna win. We've all been there. Don't feel that way, okay? It does matter. It matters a lot. It matters so much because, okay, this was not in my presentation, but I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. Don't tell anybody. It's just between us chickens, okay? I have some friends who are friends with some Republicans in DC. Don't hold it against them. Okay, we can't choose our friends sometimes. So they're friends with these Republicans in DC, and these Republicans in DC were like, "Oh, hey, you live in Alabama?" And she said, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, well, did you hear about that lady, that woman?" That's what they said. That woman that was running against Gary Palmer. And she was like, "Oh, yeah, I heard something about that." And they said, "Well, she got like 30% of the vote. That is embarrassing for Gary Palmer. I cannot believe he let a Democrat." Right, thank you. You I can't believe he let a Democrat get 30% of the vote. That's because we went out and did it, okay? That's because we showed up at the polls, even though we were feeling depressed, even though we were all like, "Where's Alabama? Like, why do I even bother?" So many of us felt that way, but we did. And it embarrassed Gary Palmer, at least with those two guys. It feels good, right? And if we made more of a dent and we make him spend $1.5 million and we make him feel a little bit embarrassed with his Republican friends, guess what? Then they're like, "Gary, you need to get it together. Like, what are you voting on here?" Like, exactly. So we got to keep doing this. And then, we talked about donating and volunteering for your candidates campaign. You got to do that. And then run for office. Run for office. Yes, you. Yes, you. You can run for office. You are almost certainly qualified. Literally anyone can do it. No one is going to stop you. Okay. You just show up and you run for office. I came out of nowhere. I called Marsha one day and I was like, "Hey, it's me. I'm running for office." And she was like, "Welcome. Anybody can do it." And if you're like, "I'm tired, I don't want to do it," convince your friend to run for office. Okay. And then finally, don't get discouraged. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. We are running a race and the Republicans are way out ahead. Okay. If it's a relay race, they've been passing the baton for a long time. They are way over there. We need to catch up. We can catch up. We're not going to do it overnight. We're not going to do it tomorrow. If we try to do that, we would burn ourselves out and we would get nowhere. But what we have to have is consistency and stamina and sustained action. Okay. We have to do that. That's how they got out there. For years, they have been running in every election up and down. You know what? They know who's running for school board. They know who's on the library board. They run somebody every single time in every single election, and they back those people every single time in every single election. And they show up and they give them money and they talk about politics and they tell their friends and they themselves run and they are doing it. And we can do it too. Okay. We can do every single thing that they are doing and we can do it better, but we have to stay in it. And a big way of staying in it is that we're going to celebrate every win, no matter how small. I thought all those people that called me after election day to congratulate me were a little man crazy, but then I thought about it and I was like, "Oh my God, no, they were totally right. We have to celebrate this stuff." So slow and steady wins the race. This is how the Republicans did it. This is how we are going to do it. They were consistent. They worked for a long time and we have to do the same. We cannot give up every time that we don't win. And then finally, please make room to be joyful. Be happy while we're doing this. Everything sucks. I was watching the post alerts on my phone every day and I'm like, it's so bad out there, but please make time to play your flute, to read your best book, your favorite book, to play with your dog. Find those joyful moments every day and remember that's what we're working for, right? We're working for a better future. We're working for something where everyone can feel happy and everyone can be included in our future, but we have to keep at it. And the way to keep at it is not by laying down and being sad and depressed about it. The way that we keep at it is by being joyful and knowing that it's not impossible. All right, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much. Hey, come on, man. All right, well, do I have time for a couple questions? 2 questions. Make them good. Oh, you got a good question about that? Yes, ma'am. All right.
Is this streamed so we can share it with friends who didn't come tonight?
It's recorded, right?
Yes,
It's recorded.
This is gonna be on YouTube.
yes.
What a great question.
Okay.
I wish I had been thinking about
Do you have a
that.
YouTube channel? It'll be up as soon as I Get it edited, yeah.
Oh, man, I told all my secrets. Barbara.
I was curious about the prison thing, so do they count the prisoners in the population of the county?
Yes, they
Are
count them as the
vote?
voting as the population of the county, but they are not eligible to vote.
Well,
So when they draw the maps, when they draw the maps, you have to have roughly even split of the population in all of these different districts. And they're like, oh, well, we've got this big population right here, and they count them towards the population so that they can then squeeze other areas. So prison gerrymandering, it has a word for it. There's so many ways to cheat in elections, okay? And they do it every time. And that just makes it harder for us to work. And that's also why I say that Alabama it's not a red state, okay? When I say that, people think I'm a little crazy. I'm not crazy. I've looked at the numbers. It's not a red state. I've lived here my whole entire life. I was born down the road, okay?
Yeah.
I know Alabama. It's not a red state. It's gerrymandered, it's voter suppressed, and it's misinformed. I'm telling you, there's so many people out there in the state that believe just like you do, even the ones that vote with an R, okay?
All right.
I'll be here. Thanks, everybody.
I'm gonna put one more question while I
Yes.
figure out how to stop the recording, okay?
Okay. Oh, yes, one more question.
Well, what can we do right now for you?
Oh, well, you can scan this QR code.
Yeah.
That's donate. That would be very helpful. And I mean, really, when I say please talk to your friends and neighbors, I truly actually mean that. And that is the thing that helps all of us. Donating is really important because it helps us to reach more people and it helps me to go talk to more people. But you know what would be equally helpful if y'all also talk to the people